Verzeo, your one stop solution to everything learning.
Good morning, Mr. Jonathan Pass.
Good morning.
So, very good evening, one and all present here. This is Anand Eskiri from content writing team, Verzeo. Thank you for attending this premium webinar. Today's speaker is Jonathan Parr, a vehicle designer at Tesla. Jonathan Parr's education is master degree in mechanical engineering, as well as master degree in business administration. He holds the responsibility of Cybertruck designing. He's co-founder of Nickel Finance after graduation and spends his day job working on commercializing the company's technologies. He's interested in all things automotive, racing, and nature exploration. Today's topic is on career in Tesla, how to achieve to be in that position, and journey of life.
Thank you very much for the introduction.
You can take over from here.
Sounds great. How's it going, everyone? Good evening. It's very early for me right now. I just woke up about 15 minutes ago. So I would like to share a short presentation that I put together to visually depict my experience and how I made it to where I'm at today. One moment. Okay, so I guess I can just get started here. How's it going, everyone? Anand, thank you for the introduction. My name is Jonathan Powers, and I'm really excited to be here today to tell you about my experience and hopefully can help you achieve your dream job. So a little bit about my background. Here are some of the recent mechanical engineering experiences that I have been involved with, ranging from Cybertruck to Honda Talon C62 delivery truck for Workhorse Group, and then Hauser Racing, which was a really fun job. I also have Nickel Finance, but I don't have that on here because it wasn't necessarily pertaining to mechanical engineering. I should have put it on here, but I could tell you guys more about that later on at the end of the presentation during the Q&A session. So just wanted to give you guys a minute here to look at the vehicles. I'm pretty proud of these vehicles that I was able to contribute to over the past about 3 or 4 years since I graduated with my master's degree. So I will move on from here. So a little bit more on my background, where all of this started, all of my mechanical engineering experience. It all started with my education. So I attended the University of Pittsburgh, which is a school in Pennsylvania. And I received first my Bachelors of Science in Mechanical Engineering. During this time, I was heavily involved with intercurricular activities like Formula SAE, where we designed actually a formula car. It was the best possible experience to help kind of jumpstart my career. So a formula car is an open wheel race car with aerodynamic downforce. It's an open cockpit, so you can see directly ahead. This car here, this blue one, is similar to the one that I was designing in college, but it's a lot larger. So the one in college is an engineering club, and we get together, we form a team, and we take this vehicle from the concept phase to real world. We build it and then we race it. So employers loved seeing that. That was honestly the most helpful experience I had to achieve the jobs that I landed and got me to where I'm at today. After I received my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, I decided to go back to college after working for 8 months because I wanted to learn more about engineering. And I also wanted to get my MBA because my ultimate goal in life is to run a business, a startup, and that can be my full-time career. So I wanted to learn more about the technicalities that are involved with starting and running a business, how to read a balance sheet for companies that are publicly traded, interpret financial statements, and understand financial investments as well. So I went back and I got my MBA and my MS at the same time. But it's really important to note that to achieve your dream jobs and to achieve your goals in life, you don't necessarily even need to go and get a degree. So if that's something that you're not necessarily really interested in, or your job doesn't necessarily require that, a lot of jobs will require some level of education, like secondary education, like college, but just like, don't feel pressured. It's not required of everyone. It has to fit with your interests. So some complementary educational experiences that I had during college were Bertil Roo's Formula 2000 driving school, which is the car there on the right. I went here for a week, and it basically overhauled my entire driving skill set. We learned really cool lessons like ocular driving. So that's whenever you're in the car and you're coming into a corner, you want to be looking ahead in the corner before you're even in the corner. So you know what's going to happen. You can predict it. So that was just a really great experience. It kind of reinforced my passion for automotives and desire to be in this industry and just learn as much as I possibly could. The Optimum G applied vehicle dynamics seminar, that again was kind of enforcing that. At this seminar, I learned about vehicle suspension geometries and all of the fine little details that if you make one of these small little changes to the dimensions of the suspension geometries, it changes the dynamics of like the entire vehicle. So without the Optimum G seminar, I wouldn't have known that, because it's kind of like a very technical skill set to have suspension design. And I'm by no means the expert. I just thought it was really interesting. So I attended, and it was really useful. And then finally, one that I'm most proud of is the Founder Institute Startup Incubator. So this institute was founded here in Silicon Valley, which is where I live right now. I live in San Francisco, California, to work for Tesla for my day job. At Founder Institute, this is where I founded Nickel Finance. So I worked with my teammates during Founders Institute, and we founded a financial technology startup. You can go on our website if you want and learn about it. It's nickelfi.com. That's it. nickelfi.com. And this institute taught me, it was kind of supplementary to my MBA, and it taught me everything about founding a startup and learning the steps that you need to take to really learn your customers, do customer discovery, do financial planning, create a pitch. So that was a really great experience. I would recommend getting involved with a startup incubator. And a lot of them are free. This one I had to pay $1,500. So it's kind of expensive, but it's affordable. So this is something I would recommend as well if you're interested in entrepreneurship, or you really want to just open your mind up to kind of the mindset required for starting a business. So just to tell you guys about my hobbies here, I'm not all about educational experiences. Those weren't the only things that got me to where I'm at today. So some of my hobbies are motorsports and power sports. And I really started this desire for automotives and this love for them at a very young age. And that's kind of like what drove me to stay persistent and get these degrees and go through all these educational and experiential pursuits, kind of starting off with dirt bikes and ATVs at a very young age, riding dirt bikes, working on them, understanding how they're put together. Went a really long way, because it is ultimately what inspired me to go into mechanical engineering in college. And then from there, it kind of just snowballed, and I kept getting involved, and I did everything I could to differentiate myself and stand out. And it all worked out. So down at the left here, we have jet skiing. In the middle, we have high performance driving, and on the right, off-road racing. And off-roading in general. I love to explore, and I love the outdoors, and it's just so much fun to get out there and enjoy and appreciate nature. On the top, here's my YouTube channel. So I have really cool car videos on my YouTube channel. If you guys are interested, you can go on my channel. It's jpowers94 on YouTube. So you can check out my videos and leave comments and whatever. So yeah, here's some of my hobbies, but now I really want to kind of tie this all together and explain to you how all of these things contributed to me landing my job at Tesla. My professional experience ultimately was what got me the job at Tesla. So 1 second here. Oops, I apologize for that. I just wanted to get that out of there. You guys can all see my presentation again. I apologize for that. So my professional experience, it really started in college. I began college in 2012, and I graduated undergrad in 2016. And then my master's degree, I did from 2017 to 2019. So during my time in college, I did everything that I could to really differentiate myself, as I mentioned earlier, from other people, to really show my dedication to automotive engineering and automotive design. So I was part of the Formula SAE team where we created this formula car. So as you see here on the left to the right, this was the progression of our car. It was so cool because in 2012, it did not have aerodynamics. It did not have some of the technology that it did in 2019 and 2020. But over the years, my team and I progressively added better technology and better designs. And our car got more advanced. And then we went to international competitions and competed with other colleges from all around the world. And those experiences are what showed my employers that I am competitive, I'm a team player, and I really am dedicated, because it takes months to build these Formula SAE cars. So if you're very interested in mechanical engineering or automotive engineering, I would highly recommend, and I would advise that this is the number one experience that you can get in a college. So if you know for a fact that you want to go into automotive engineering and you're looking for a college to choose, I would recommend one that has a good Formula SAE program and a good mechanical engineering or automotive engineering program, because that's ultimately what will build your skill set so that you're ready for the workforce and to build these things in real life. Out of undergrad in 2016, I worked for a company called Hauser Racing. They make aftermarket parts for off-road vehicles. As you can see here, I'm holding these giant bars. Those bars were designed so that trees can't get stuck between your front and rear tire, kind of where I'm standing. If a tree gets stuck in there whenever you're going through the woods, the tree can hit into your tire and it can actually just rip your entire tire off. So by adding these blue large metal bars, the tree can slide on them and then they can kind of be deflected around the rear tire. After Hauser Racing, I worked there for 8 months. Then I went back to get my master's degree. During my master's degree, I was an intern in the project management office at Arconic. And that really let me differentiate my skill set, which was previously all just mechanical engineering. All I did was design engineering, vehicle engineering up until this point. But now I kind of had project management experience. So you really want to kind of expand on your skill set and study things that are adjacent, maybe not completely different from your degree or your desired career path, but complementary. So project management, obviously for mechanical engineering, it's a really good skill to have because we do a lot of project management with mechanical engineering. Then my first job out of college was power sports engineering at Honda R&D Americas. So I was working on vehicles like the Honda Talon, which I showed earlier, and I could show again or share more about that experience. But working for Honda really got me that foundation of really technical knowledge and process-driven engineering. Honda's an old company. They have a lot of really strict processes and really certain ways to do things right. And there's only really one way to do it. You have to basically follow the path to advance projects. And it's actually probably detrimental to them. They probably move slower than they could if they actually were to just work a lot faster. So Tesla, for example, is like a really fast moving company. We just do everything as fast as possible. We are very data driven, but we don't have all these checks and balances like Honda did. So that's why Tesla is able to grow and expand so fast. So Tesla, as most of you know, really only started producing cars in 2012. So within 10 years, we're producing 1 million cars per year. So that's pretty incredible that the company has scaled that quickly. After Honda R&D, I worked at a company called Workhorse Technologies right before I went to Tesla. So Tesla, my interview process actually took a really long time. It took about 3 months, but I knew I wanted to leave Honda, and I knew that I wanted to pursue either Workhorse Technologies or Tesla. And the cool thing about Workhorse was that it was kind of like a really small company. There were only, I think, like 5 or 6 engineers, and then there were 10 or 20 production associates. And I, being an entrepreneur and having a startup, I thought this could be a really great experience. I'll go to Workhorse Technologies. They make electric delivery trucks. So it's kind of in line with Tesla, but it's a different industry. So it's last mile delivery. So if you know some delivery services like maybe DHL or UPS or FedEx, maybe you've heard of them, they are committing to using these carbon net zero vehicles created by Workhorse in the future. They're just totally electric delivery trucks. So I worked at Workhorse for a very short period of time because whenever I got my offer from Tesla, I had to unfortunately leave Workhorse to go to Tesla because it was just an offer that I could not pass up. I was so excited about design integration engineering at Tesla, and I knew that I was going to be working on Cybertruck. So that was just like, that was just an experience that, or an opportunity that I could not pass up. And I can talk a little bit more about that, and also I can answer any questions about that experience. But first, I want to just tell you one more thing. So finding your calling is different for everybody. I was able to find my calling because I was really, from a young age, very interested in automotives, very passionate about them. And I got to experience a lot of different automotive related, just kind of exciting times, and a vast variety of opportunities. So I got to go to a lot of races. I got to see a lot of cars, drive them, touch them. My favorite media outlet is YouTube. So I just constantly watch race car videos on YouTube. But finding your calling is different for everyone. And I think that I kind of have, like, through thinking of it for months and months, I've realized that you have to kind of break it down whenever you're trying to find your calling. And it's a combination of multiple things. It has to make sense and it has to line up. So to begin kind of understanding what your calling is going to be, you have to know what your interests are. So for me, I knew my interests were automotives, and I knew that I loved being outdoors and working on cars, looking at them, designing them, thinking about them. So I knew what my interests were. And then I had to figure out my strengths. So that goes for everyone. You have to do what is going to work for you. You have to be good at something to really go into that and have a successful career, whether that be start your own company, work for somebody else. But you have to figure out your strengths, and you have to realize, I'm interested in this. Here's what I'm good at. And then you have to know, what type of education do I need to get this job? So your strengths, your interests, and your education all go into getting the experience. But ultimately, to land your dream job, you also need to get experience in the field. So you need to have work experience at kind of a lesser company. You need to have internship experience, just hands-on experience, kind of showing that you are a team player and that you really are going to be making a difference at this company. And then once you put all those things kind of into the funnel, everything will begin to make sense and everything will begin to come together. And that is where you land your dream job. So landing your dream job, it's not easy. It can take months, and it eventually, it'll happen. You just have to be very persistent. You have to leverage all of your resources, which I'm about to talk to on the next slide. And that's really how you can end up getting something you never thought possible. You just have to be very methodical, and you have to be very dedicated and very persistent. Whenever things seem like they're hard, you have to see the positive in these things, and you have to keep going. So what I meant when I said you leverage your network, these are the differentiating skills and traits that employers would like to see. They like to see leadership. They like to see teamwork, persistence, dedications. So they like to see that you have stuck with something for a really long time, that you are really dedicated to just improving your skills at one thing or two things. And they also want to see experience. So they want to see that you worked on a team with people. They want to see that you coordinated things with people and you worked with people who had different skill sets. So cross-functional experience. For example, I'm a mechanical engineer, but Tesla loved that I had worked with electrical engineers, software engineers, industrial engineers. Once I told them about the Formula SAE experience and building this race car from the ground up, that's really what piqued their interest in me initially. And I think that's how I was able to land my initial interview with Tesla. To do these initial interviews, to get in the front door with the companies, you really need to leverage your network of recruiting platforms. So you have LinkedIn, you have Glassdoor, you have Monster. What you can do is you can really begin by just creating a nice resume that's easy to read. You can upload it to these outlets, these platforms. And then what you can do is you can go on here and try to connect with people and employers that you're really interested in. And then you have a higher chance of actually getting noticed. So for Tesla gets thousands of applications per month. It's crazy. There's so many people who want to work at Tesla, and there's no possible way that we find all of the good people. There's just too many. So we hope that the good people can differentiate themselves. And usually how you can do that is you can reach out and talk to somebody one-on-one at the company that you're interested in. You can also get a referral. So for me, I got to my interview at Tesla because I had a referral from a friend who worked there. So my friend, he wrote a letter of recommendation and he sent it to the guy who would be my manager back whenever I was interviewing. And the guy really, he liked my experience and we started talking, and that's how I really got in the door. But a lot of times a really good person will apply for Tesla, but the problem is we have just so many people that want to work there that we don't always get the opportunity to interview the best people, which is unfortunate. But it really comes down to the responsibility of the individual to differentiate themselves, to become somebody who is, marketable and is desirable by these employers. So now I have told you all about how to get the job. I've told you about my experience, and maybe I can tell you a little bit about the job now. I didn't prepare any more slides. I do have my thank you slide here, but maybe I can just, before I go to that, I can tell you a little bit more about my job at Tesla and what it's like to work on designing the Cybertruck. So I currently work at Tesla and I'm working on designing the Cybertruck, which a lot of people really love. A lot of people really hate it. But ultimately the Cybertruck, I think, is going to be one of the coolest vehicles that is ever made. So what I do at Tesla, what I do at Tesla is I'm a product design engineer. And what that entails is I'm the team that ties everything together on the vehicle. So you have your designers of individual components on the truck. So if you look at it here, you see you have your body panels, you have your light bar in the front, you have your wheels and tires, you have your glass. There's individual designers for each one of those components. The integration engineers have to work cross-functionally between all of the different designers and the different teams to make sure that the parts are going to work together. So for example, these body panels, they have to mount somewhere to the body. So usually the body panel and the designer of the body structure are different people, and they don't always necessarily talk to each other. They don't always know the constraints between the different parts. And that's a really big problem, because if they had to do all of that themselves, it would take time away from them from designing. And they would probably miss some things because there are a lot of really important things that designers don't necessarily look for. They're kind of more of like highly technical, and they just want to design their part and make it the best possible. They want to optimize it by running simulations, stress simulations, to know that the part's not going to break. So integration engineering really has to be well-rounded and know enough about the entire vehicle that we can kind of get in there and we can make recommendations and we can ensure communication is being upheld. And then also we can make sure that people are staying on schedule and on scope for the project. So with Cybertruck, one of the biggest problems that we have had is it's called scope creep. And what scope creep is, it's whenever you just keep adding features to the vehicle and you just keep adding things to the project. And it's really hard not to have scope creep, because whenever people start working on something, they get so excited and they're so into the project and they love it so much. They want to keep making it better. They want to keep going farther. But then it's a really big risk because it extends the project timeline. It makes the resources become more constrained because now costs more to make the product. More people are time constrained because they're doing more things. So it's really important that you stay within the scope that's defined kind of at the beginning. So as a product integration engineer, I have to do all of these things where I work with individual designers. I host meetings on a daily basis where I pull in 20 to 30 people and we just coordinate. We go down every week, some of the biggest needs in the areas of the truck that I'm responsible for. And then we talk about how we're going to solve them. I work closely not only with the designers, but I also work with the manufacturing team that is going to be building the truck. So every one of these parts on the truck has to come together and be able to be built. So yes, it looks crazy, but the assembly process is even crazier. This truck is going to be built in a way that has never been done before. The assembly process is brand new to us and it's brand new to everyone at every manufacturing company. And I can't really talk much about it because it's still a secret. But when it comes out, I'd be more than happy to come back and talk about how this thing was built and why it's so unique. But I work with the assembly. It's called general assembly. And that means all the parts when they're bolted onto the vehicle and they're assembled to the vehicle. I work with general assembly to make sure all of these designs that are very advanced designs are actually going to work on the vehicle, because sometimes people will design something and number one, it can't be manufactured, but number two, it can't be assembled. So you have two parts of manufacturing. You have individual part manufacturing, which is like casting, milling of these large metal components, or it is molding for plastic components or glass. And then you have assembly, which is whenever you take those manufactured parts and you put them in the truck, on the truck, you bolt them, you rivet them, you fasten them inside the truck. And then general assembly is when we build it. After we sell the vehicle, it goes to the customer. The customer drives it, it breaks, they'll bring it back to Tesla, and then we have to service it. So I also work with the service team on top of the general assembly team, because this truck, not only does it need to be easy to build, it also needs to be easy to service. So initially, whenever you put the truck together, you want to make sure that it's not time consuming, that it's as fast as possible, because your rate, it's called your build rate, which is the number of trucks that you can build per week, per day. You want that to be as high as possible. You want to build as many cars as possible so that you can sell more vehicles. That's currently what's constraining us at Tesla, is our build rate. Is we need to have more factories, which is going to be great because we have Austin, Texas. We have Berlin. These two giant factories are going to be coming online. So we're going to be able to build many more cars and sell many more cars. But after we build the cars and then service brings it back, service needs to be able to fix the cars as fast as possible. They don't want to be spending hours to service a component that's known to break pretty often. They want to be spending minutes on that component. They want to be able to just get in and access it, reach it really easily, and take it out of the car and put a new one in. So it's really cool being a product design integration engineer, working with the designers, the assembly line, the manufacturing engineers, and then also the service engineers, kind of getting the full circle of the vehicle. And my role really, we're part of this development from the very start. We help to kind of set the architecture of the vehicle and what it's going to need to make this crazy concept, become a reality. The craziest part about Cybertruck is it was a concept and now it is a reality, but it still looks like the concept. Nothing really changed, which is really abnormal because usually auto manufacturers will come out with this really flashy, crazy concept. And then it ends up looking totally different by the time the vehicle is in production and it's coming to the buyers. But Tesla, the Cybertruck, what you saw a few years ago, whenever it was released, is what's going to happen, is what you're going to get. So the last thing I want to just tell you is the area of the truck that I'm responsible for. So if you look at Cybertruck in this image, and you see how there are the door panels there, I'm responsible basically for every component rearward of the rear door line. So you see that cut line on the rear door, all of the components behind that, I am responsible for integrating pretty much every single one of those. So that includes the bed, the tonneau cover, those fender flares, the body panels, all of these components that make a truck are what I'm responsible for. And I'm really thankful for that, because growing up doing all of this off-roading and hands-on experience, you could probably assume that I did use a lot of trucks. So I'm a user of these vehicles. I know what needs to happen for them to be robust and reliable, so that people can really get maximum usage out of this truck without breaking it. So say they're dumping rocks in the bed, or say they drop cinder blocks or an off-road vehicle, the truck has to perform, and it has to not just crumble and break down like if it was not manufactured or designed with enough strength. So yeah, that's a pretty cool area of the truck. And as I get more experience at Tesla, my manager continues to add more components to the list that I am responsible for. So that's really awesome. I'm taking on more and more responsibilities. And the best part about Tesla was that just from the start, from day one, I had so much responsibility. I would say that each one of us at the company probably has the amount of responsibility of probably like 3 or 4 people. So if I were to go work at like one of these legacy automakers, there's no way that I would have as much responsibility. But at Tesla, it's awesome because it's a smaller company, but not even smaller. It's just faster paced and more efficient than these other larger companies. So each one of us has to do more. We have to pick up more weight to achieve the great things that Tesla is trying to achieve. Okay, so that is all I had to tell you about my experience and how Tesla is. But I would love to answer any questions that anyone has, or go into more detail about Cybertruck as much as I can tell you, or more about the career side. Here is a QR code that you can scan. It'll just take you straight to my LinkedIn. So if you want to follow me or connect with me, and then you could ask me whatever questions you have additionally. But yeah, here is your opportunity to ask me anything that you want to ask.
Hey John, it's Ajay here.
Hey, how's it going?
John, I think we have few chats in the Zoom section. Look at that.
Sure. So you want me to take a look at the Zoom and answer some of the questions?
Yeah, some of the questions. I think we're on Q&A kind of thing. Students, if you have any questions, you are most welcome to post it, and I think we can go with a bit interactive mode.
Very cool. So what can you see on my screen right now?
Oh, the slide on questions actually.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I can go down here and I can talk a little bit about these questions. So The first one, tell us something technical regarding hybrid electric vehicles, job market demand. So yeah, I mean, all of these companies right now, all of these legacy automakers, they're all shifting to hybrid, and actually they're just skipping hybrid. They're just jumping straight to electric. So it's really important that these companies get all the people that they need. The demand in the electric industry right now is crazy. So Ford is going to be hiring EV engineers. They're going to be hiring at companies like Fiat. They're going to be hiring at companies like General Motors, Audi, BMW, all of these companies. They're going to be just focusing their efforts on electric over the next few years. In Europe, I'm pretty sure they like banned combustion vehicles by like 2030. So pretty much every vehicle in Europe is going to have to be electric. So that market is booming. If you're interested, if it aligns with your skills and your interests, definitely go for a job in that industry. Any scope in Tata Motors? No, actually, I don't know much about Tata Motors. I know that they make vehicles in India. I would love to learn more about them because that is one of the only manufacturers that I don't really know that much about. One second here. I'm just going to share my entire screen. One second. I actually just realized I think my camera's been blurry. Hold on, wait. Let me see if I can get it better for you guys. I'm making it worse. Hold on. Okay. That might be the best we're going to get. So let me just share my screen again really quickly. Okay. So the reason I shared it like this is so you can see the questions that I am going to answer as I answer them. Okay. So next question. An electric design engineer work in a big car company? Yes, definitely. Electronic design is huge. At Tesla, we have power electronics, which are components that are actuated. So kind of like mechatronics, it's high voltage and low voltage electronic components that have movement or are very important for the car's overall ability to kind of just move and have motive. So yes, you can work at a big car company. Absolutely. BE electronics engineers get a job. Yes, definitely you can. Hybrid electric vehicle design project are on new launching car or old projects modify only. So I think it's a combination. So some companies will use existing platforms and they'll add like a hybrid powertrain. So they'll kind of like downsize the engine and add electric, but also they'll come out with brand new ones where they will just make it, from the ground up. And EV companies nowadays are just coming out with brand new platforms. But I think a very big missed opportunity is just retrofitting their existing products with electric motors. So for example, if you look at the Ford F-150 Lightning, it's all electric, but it's based on the F-150. So all they did was take the F-150 chassis and just change all of the bodywork, change the interior, exterior, and then same chassis, same body, and then they just added electric motors and a battery. So it all differs, the strategy of the manufacturer. Does Tesla accept Bitcoin? I'm not sure. I know that we just started accepting Dogecoin, which is pretty hilarious. We did accept Bitcoin for a while, and I think we might again, but for a while we were not accepting it because it was too inefficient to mine for it. Can a software engineer work as a vehicle design engineer in Tesla? Yeah, you can. So you would be designing software that operates the vehicle if you're a software engineer. So the vehicle has an infotainment system. It has logic within the car computer and the controllers. So software engineers would be developing the software that would run on those systems to make the whole vehicle work. So very important role. And software engineering is actually one of the highest paid jobs at Tesla. So it's definitely everyone wants to work there. How can I get mechanical engineering internship? So mechanical engineering, to get an internship, you really have to be persistent and you have to apply to as many places as possible, but you want to keep your applications, you want to keep them personalized. So you don't want to just send it out to a million. You want to probably choose like the top 20 places that you want to apply at. You want to customize your resume as much as you can for each one of those jobs. And then you also want to write a cover letter if you can. I understand writing a cover letter is very time intensive, but you at least want to customize your resume. So when you look at the job posting, you want to add things in your resume that basically align your skills with what they're looking for. So if it says like 5 years of teamwork on interdisciplinary club, then on your resume somewhere you should talk about why you have that experience or similar experience. So you really just got to craft it, and then you got to kill the interview. So you got to do really well, and you got to be confident, and you have to take your time, and you have to speak. You have to speak whenever you're spoken to. Usually people will keep going and they'll just keep talking. You want to listen to the interviewer and answer their questions, and you want to seem very humble and very attentive. So people will just sometimes talk and talk and talk, and they'll say too much without listening. My advice would be sit back, take some deep breaths, drink some water, and then listen, and then just knock the interview out of the park, and you will receive an internship. What type of software is using Tesla for designing cars? So our design software, we use CATIA. So that's what I go in every day whenever I'm designing Cybertruck. We're using CATIA, which is a Dassault product. So you have SolidWorks, then you have CATIA, and then I'm sure they have other 3D modeling programs. All right. What kind of battery is used in Tesla for the best performance? Yeah, so there's multiple batteries used in Tesla right now. I think we have like 3 different batteries that we're using, and it's all dependent right now on like supply chain. So whichever battery we can get the most of, like we have our ideal battery that we'd want to use, but I'm not sure exactly what that is. But I don't think we necessarily can get enough of those. So we're kind of constrained by how many batteries we can actually get from our suppliers. And that's why Tesla is trying to create their own supply chain for batteries. So we're trying to mass produce batteries as fast as we can, so that we don't have to be constrained by the suppliers. Is there any scope of a finance intern in Tesla? Yeah, there's definitely finance interns in Tesla. There's a finance team. I don't interact with them at all because right now I'm just purely mechanical engineering. But yes, definitely finance interns. Embedded systems and VLSI tech are used in designing cars. So I don't actually know what VLSI tech is. So if you want to drop another comment explaining what that is, maybe I can answer that question better. Does Tesla accept Bitcoin? Maybe. I think yes, finance intern can get a chance in Tesla. Any upcoming webinar on embedded systems? I don't know about what those are, so please drop that in the chat and I can talk more about that. How can I get a mechanical engineering internship? I think I touched on this one already a little bit. What type of designing software are required to work at Tesla? So for mechanical engineering, at least, it really depends on what role you're going into. So different types of engineers will be required to use different softwares. So like a simulation engineer, for example, may be required to use something like ANSYS. They may be required to use something like Abacus. These are simulation softwares that are very hard to use, that take a very specific skill set. But someone like myself, I'm primarily required to use 3D CAD software. And then, of course, like Microsoft Word and Google Suite products. But yeah, it depends really what role you're on. And it's a very vast number of softwares. Which type of softwares are used in Tesla design? Yes, I just answered that one. What software should I learn to enter into Tesla? I would say just if you're interested in mechanical engineering and you would like to get a job in vehicle design, you definitely have to be able to 3D model. So definitely learn CAD, like some type of 3D modeling software. And luckily, they're all similar enough that you can kind of transfer skills from one software to the other. So it's once you learn one, it's really easy to learn the others. And you will find that going through your profession, you will be using a bunch of these different CAD softwares. At least that's what's happened with me. All right. Can a materials engineer work in automobile companies? Absolutely. Yes. That is another very highly demanded skill. So software engineers, obviously very big in car companies. Material science engineers, massive. And there's not enough of them. So these car companies will absolutely hire you really fast because metallurgists and like polymer engineers, mechanical materials engineers, these individuals are the ones who go into designing the alloys that the vehicle is made out of. So aluminum alloys and steel vehicles are made primarily of these two metals, and everyone is trying to have a lighter vehicle, a stronger vehicle. So materials engineers, that's where you come in. You develop the alloy that increases in strength or increases in performance for these companies. So absolutely, you can work in automotive companies. How would I apply in the fourth year? So yeah, you would probably just go on Tesla's career page. Or you could go on LinkedIn or Glassdoor. I know that they post jobs in multiple locations, not just on Tesla careers, but I would also reach out to somebody at the company who is in the role that you want to be in and start like making friends with them and talking with them because they can really help you by giving you a recommendation to get into the company. I am a mechanical engineer from IIT Madras. So can I get a job in Tesla? Do you get to see Elon Musk working? So anyone can get a job in Tesla as long as you are able to show that you have done something excellent, that you have the experience, and you're really dedicated and willing to work. Anyone can get a job at Tesla. You're not limited by your university or your education. Everyone can apply, and depending on how well you market yourself, that is what really depends if you get in. I have not seen Elon Musk working yet. I'm really hoping that I can see him soon, whether it's at Austin Gigafactory, Austin, Texas, or here in California. It'd be really cool to see Elon and meet him. Which programming language is used? I do not know that one. I'm very sorry. I don't know that one. I'm not software or programmer. I'm just mechanical engineering. Sorry. Very large scale integration. Okay. So I'm not sure what that means exactly. The VLSI, very large scale integration. But maybe if you could just elaborate on that question just a little bit more, like kind of use VLSI in context, and then maybe I can answer that question better for you. What are the future plans of Tesla with respect to electric vehicles with the arrival of Industry 4.0? Yeah. So Tesla's future plans with electric vehicles are we really just want to expand our production capacity. So plans for Tesla future vehicles, obviously no drivers. We want to have totally autonomous vehicles where we're just getting data from all of these vehicles and compiling it in one place. So our vision system, we're capturing all of the surroundings. We're compiling in one place. We have no need for drivers anymore. There's no collisions or wrecks anymore because there's not people to make mistakes. Everything is kind of intertwined, and the vehicles know where each other are because they are part of industry, or they're part of like this Internet of Things. And they're able to kind of sense each other. So Industry 4.0, yeah, absolutely. We want to just kind of scale up and do as much as possible just to increase our production capacity. Okay, next question is, once show software use Tesla vehicle design? We can once show software. I'm not sure what that question is. So if you would like to rephrase it, be great. Can having an interest solely in design engineering do you any good? What are your tips for a mechanical bachelor's? Yeah, so design engineering, there's two types. Obviously, you have like studio design, which is like stylistic, and then you have design engineering from my perspective, which is like mechanical design. My tips for bachelor's would be, if you're unsure of what your interests really are, I would say get as much experience as possible, do as many internships as possible, take a largest variety of classes as possible. Just try to get as much experience and try as many different things as possible. That's what I did. And it was like really great because it ended up just working out in my favor. I had a nice kind of portfolio of experiences, and I knew what I really liked because I tried so many things. Sir, can I get your Instagram idea? You can add me on LinkedIn. So right here, feel free to scan my LinkedIn and you can add me on LinkedIn. What is Tesla's vision? Tesla's vision is a world where everyone transitions to sustainable energy. So that is for power generation, that is for automotives, that is for shipping. That's the vision. Sustainable everything. CAD software is sufficient to survive in Tesla. Yes, that is correct. CAD software is sufficient. One more type of software that is necessary for Tesla is like planning and tracking software. So like Atlassian, we use that software. And then on top of that, we use Jira. So Jira is an Atlassian project, but that's what we use to track a lot of our like problem tracking, and our issue tracking is Jira. So you do have to learn those systems whenever you come to Tesla. I have knowledge of AutoCAD, SolidWorks. Does it require to have knowledge of CATIA? So that's great. Those two things are a really good start. And luckily, now that you have that background, you'll be able to learn CATIA. So whatever company you go to, they use their specific CAD software, and you will have to learn it no matter what it is. If you don't know it, that's just part of the job. Like, you'll have to learn it. So luckily you already have a head start on that. So that's really good. I have some concern with lithium ion battery operated vehicles. Like, they don't have the future what we get in petrol diesel vehicles. Is there any alternative plan for electric vehicles other than lithium ion operated battery? Yeah, I think there are plans for possible other vehicles other than lithium ion. I know that hydrogen powered vehicles are getting pretty big. They're in development right now. And hydrogen, as you know, it's basically just water in the fuel tank. It's just really high pressure water, and it creates electric energy by electrolysis of the water. So lithium ion is not the only way. There's aluminum air batteries that are in development right now that are actually the highest energy density batteries. There are alternative plans, but right now everyone is really putting their eggs kind of in one basket. So I do agree with you. There are some concerns with lithium ion batteries just based on raw material availability, supply chain bottlenecks, current manufacturing bottlenecks. But I think these companies are planning ahead, and they have alternative options, but would be very interested to hear your opinion on that and exactly what you think. So feel free to add me on LinkedIn. When is Tesla launching in India? So I think if it were up to me, Elon Musk, I think he's doing his best to launch there as fast as possible. I know that he has recently gotten a lot of inquiries from higher up business individuals, and I believe some politicians in India asking him to come and invest in certain locations. So I think he is highly considering that. I don't know, but it would make sense to get down there and be one of the first EV companies. Tesla launching new product in India, CAD knowledge used in this designing. Okay, I don't know if that's a question or a statement, but that is really, really good. You have Steam pinned down there. Yes, that is correct. I do have Steam pinned down there. So right now I really enjoy playing Apex Legends, and I enjoy playing Halo. So, yep. Those are some of my hobbies as well. I like to play video games. All right. We have 2 minutes left. Are there any other questions from anyone? I really appreciate your time today and coming in here to talk to me this morning and learn about my journey. So do you have any other additional questions or that you'd like, any last minute questions? That's a great question right there. How's my work-life balance? So as you know, you might know, people at Tesla always sometimes are overworked. You'll hear all these stories about them working these long hours. And I think that was the case for quite some time, very long time, maybe like 2012, all the way up to like 2018, probably, especially with Model 3. Because Model 3 was a very tough project to scale up the production and manufacturing. Right now, though, the work-life balance, they're really focusing on optimizing and improving it. So my work-life balance is actually really good because we're trying to maintain employees and keep them for longer. And how you do that is you make your employees happy, you give them better work-life balance, better compensation. So work-life balance for me at Tesla has been great. I'm very blessed to have such a good work-life balance. So yeah, that's I think we're wrapping up here. Sharanya, if you would like to talk more about this VLSI, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn and we can talk more about it, because I don't think I sufficiently answered your questions here. Future goals as a career is to start my own business and run a startup. That's the future goal. All right. We're out of time here. Feel free to message me on LinkedIn and I'll do my best to respond to your inquiries.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you for your time. Thank you for putting out your precious time. Actually, it's early morning, and yep, that's what, like, even our candidates wanted a good exposure on. I believe we have delivered till that point. And yep, that's all from our end. We'll definitely go with similar kind of webinars in the future, and we can keep it something related to the topic on mechanical itself, so that our candidates will be in benefit of. And anything from your end, John? How it was?
Yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, it was pretty straightforward, just small little talk and then question and answer. And yeah, it was pretty straightforward. I think you guys did a good job administering it. So thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much again, John.
No problem.
Great then. So yeah, candidates will be having these kind of webinars in the future also. Stay tuned to us, and you can check out Jonathan's YouTube channel. Definitely you would like it, because he has a lot of videos that he had already posted similar to automobile industry and work life, and the things that he sorts out with. And you can subscribe to his LinkedIn page also. I think definitely, I think it'll be beneficial for you. Yep, that's all from my end. Thank you so much, all. Have a great evening, and have a good day, John.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, have a great one, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Visit Verzeo.com, subscribe to our channel to know more.